Years ago, a man bought a piece of property that had been in dispute for decades. Several people claimed it belonged to their family. Everyone had stories, everyone had paperwork, everyone spoke with confidence. But in the end, only one thing settled the matter: the deed. It didn't matter who said it was theirs. What mattered was whether the claim matched reality. That simple truth helps us approach a difficult but crucial biblical question today. Greetings, Patriots. I'm Greene. Welcome to God in America, where faith and freedom are anchored not in labels or claims, but in truth. Freedom and faith both collapse when identity is defined by words rather than authentic allegiance. In the book of Revelation, Jesus speaks of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. That phrase has been misunderstood, misused, and abused through history, so we're going to take a closer look today. The Bible makes a careful distinction between heritage and faithfulness. Paul writes in Romans 2, verses 28 and 29, "For he is not a Jew who is one outwardly, nor is circumcision that which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Jew who is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, not in the letter, whose praise is not from men, but from God." According to Paul, a faithful Jew is not one outwardly, but inwardly. It is a matter of the heart, by the Spirit. That idea didn't begin with Paul. It echoes Moses, Jeremiah, and the prophets who repeatedly warned Israel that covenant identity was never about bloodline alone. From the beginning, God's people were defined by faith and obedience, not simply ancestry or title. Biblically speaking, genuine Jews are those who belong to God by faith. Abraham himself was counted righteous before he was circumcised. Faith came first. Paul explains that all who belong to Christ, Jew and Gentile alike, are heirs of the promise. That does not erase ethnic Israel or deny God's historical covenants. It clarifies that standing before God has always rested on faithfulness, not claim alone. In Revelation, Jesus addresses first century believers suffering persecution. The people he refers to were religious authorities who claimed exclusive covenant authority, rejected Jesus as the Messiah, used religious power to persecute believers. This issue was not ethnicity. Jesus, the apostles, and the early church were Jewish. The focus was spiritual allegiance. To claim God's name while opposing God's work is the definition of false authority and heresy. That is why Jesus uses such strong language to expose their hypocrisy. Early Americans understood this principle well. They were wary of titles, inherited power, and claims of authority without accountability. They rejected the idea that someone ruled simply because of lineage or position. Authority, they believed, had to be exercised justly and in submission to God. Their concern was not who claimed legitimacy, but whether leaders governed according to truth, conscience, and moral responsibility. Jonathan Mayhew was a congregational minister of the West Church in Boston. In 1747, he graduated from Harvard with honors. In 1765, reflecting the colonists' feelings toward King George III's Hated Stamp Act, Mayhew stated in a sermon that became the basis of the American slogan, "Rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God." He emphatically stated, "The king is as much bound by his oath not to infringe the legal rights of the people as the people are bound to yield subjection to him, from whence it follows that as soon as the prince sets himself above the law, he loses the king and the tyrant. He does to all intents and purposes unking himself." That same discernment guided their understanding of faith. Many warned that outward religion without inward obedience was dangerous, not only to the soul, but to liberty itself. This passage in Revelation speaks directly to our time, but not in the way many assume. Like Adam and Eve, we like to blame others and point out their inadequacies. The warning is not about identifying others, it's about examining ourselves. Today, many claim Christian identity in churches carrying Christ's name, leaders using religious language, and institutions appealing to God outwardly. But Scripture asks a deeper question: do actions match allegiance? Jesus warned that many would say, "Lord, Lord," and still not know him. The danger of claiming identity without obedience is universal. The Bible consistently teaches that God looks at the heart. Salvific formulas do not replace faithfulness, and labels do not override obedience. Whether Jew or Gentile, church or nation, the measure is the same. Are we aligned with God's truth and purposes? That question keeps us humble, and humility is where genuine faith begins. In God's economy, belonging is not about what we say, it's about who we follow. May we be a people who bear God's name with integrity, live our faith with humility, and seek truth over titles. Well, thank you for listening to God in America today. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe to our podcasts. Until next time, let's keep the light of faithful following burning.